Alright guys, it's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and it is April 1st, and this is no April Fool's joke. I do have information from the creative director's letter. It talks about an Alpha 1 timeline, so we finally have dates. Not wanting to waste anybody's time, let's jump in here, let's talk about these dates. This is going to be your Alpha 1 deployment timeline. So what you have is you have today, we are on 1 April. In May, we are going to start the Alpha 1 deployment, and that is going to start with QA testing the Kickstarter backers who have the Phoenix Initiative or higher. As we move into the summer, they will open up QA testing to the other Kickstarter backers, those with Braver of Worlds and higher. And as we move into the fall, this will be the full Alpha 1 launch. This will be including the people with the webpage Intrepid packs. Now, I do want to talk about one thing that is a little controversial. This first testing period, May in through June, sometime in that summer, is going to be under NDA. Now, when we talk about the NDA, a lot of people are going to initially say, I thought that there was no NDA on the Kickstarter Alpha 1, and there isn't. It's only on the ramp up. Now, I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but so that people know where that comes from, because it didn't come directly from the letter. That was Steven saying the testing in May and June will likely remain under NDA until he feels comfortable with the stability. And Margaret saying they'll let people know what is and what is not under NDA. Now, with that, I do want to talk about the second class citizens piece. That's also going to talk about why they're making some of the decisions they're making. They're going to follow the same process they did as they followed during the Apocalypse Battle Royale rollout. There's your high Kickstarter packages, then Kickstarter, then webpage packs. This caused a little bit of, dissension in the community back in APOC, and I already know that people are going to be saying, well, aren't all A1 backers A1 backers? The truth of the matter is, Intrepid's learning from mistakes they had, but they can't go back and change verbiage. That's just not possible. I mean, otherwise I'm sure Intrepid would use terms like Alpha 1 preload and then Alpha 1, Alpha 2 preload, then Alpha 2. Anybody who's going to get upset that they're doing a staggered rollout, you need to realize that this is actually the best method for ensuring a smooth testing ramp up. The very last thing you want Intrepid to do is drop 10,000 testers on their build and then have it crash and then the engineers not know what happened. Is it a issue with the handshake agreement between the authentication server and putting you into the game server? Is it a problem with the game server? Is it a problem with the first initial loading zone? There's just too many people. As you can see right there, I just listed 3 different things that could be causing an issue. And you try to put 10,000 people all in at the same time, you're not going to know what is causing the problems. Another thing I do want to talk about is I want to talk about community-driven development. A lot of people have been accusing Intrepid of not being open and transparent anymore. And the truth is they're not. They're not as open and as transparent as they were back in 2017, early 2018. The problem with that is a lot of people didn't want to abide by the other blade, the other side of the double-edged sword argument against open development. Yes, it's cool to see everything in advance, but if you're not accepting the fact that this is not an Asian import game, it's not a polished game that you see in alpha, when what they're doing is an alpha is for marketing reasons and all they're showing you is the localization efforts. So Steven did close off some of that development, but it doesn't mean they stopped doing community-driven development. The biggest one being that based on our feedback, people who leave comments on my videos, on all the other content creators' videos, on their official videos, in their Discord, during their Twitch, all those things are sources to get back to Steven and let him know how the community feels. He decided to prioritize Alpha 1 testing over the Castle Siege mode. Originally, we were supposed to do Battle Royale, then Castle Siege, then Horde mode, then Alpha 1. He's moved Alpha 1 up so people know they're working on an MMORPG. It's a riskier development path, but demonstrating the MMORPG core systems became higher priority. What this means is we will see Alpha 1 sooner, but we still need to do that Castle Siege testing and that Horde mode testing. For Castle Sieges, it's more than just Castle Sieges. It's also Node Sieges, because it's going to be using the same and similar mechanics Also, it's if they decide to do battlegrounds, it's the same technology that you'd be using to make battlegrounds as you would for the castle sieges. So I want to make sure people realize that they don't speed up the timeline in their head just because we're getting Alpha 1 now. We have to go through the same number of milestones. We're just going to do them in a little bit of a different order. So keep that in mind when you start thinking, oh, there's a possibility Ashes will launch in 2020. No, there's probably not. There's absolutely probably zero chance we'll get the launch in 2020. Intrepid has made no such promises. We're looking probably late 2021 or even 2022. Just keep that in mind so you balance your expectations. Other stuff in the letter, I know a lot of people just want the dates, but one thing Intrepid did that I really applaud them on is they have delayed the monthly cosmetic rotation. I think this is a good move by Intrepid. People have hit hard times, gamers especially. A lot of people in the community like having the full collection of cosmetics. You never have to buy a cosmetic. There's no pay to win. Some people like having them. It would be kind of a jerk move for Intrepid to keep rotating the monthly cosmetics when people aren't working due to a pandemic, no fault of their own. I also want to highlight something that Steven kind of didn't dive directly into, but I will. Delays. As a community, we have to be forgiving of delays right now. Yes, they're working from home, they're teleworking, they're able to do a lot of the things that they need to do to keep the development of Ashes of Creation going. But COVID is making face-to-face meetings impossible. And when I say face-to-face meetings being impossible, California is under a lockdown, so you do not go to non-essential jobs. Yes, you can do a lot of things on Skype or Discord call, but it's not the same as being in the same physical space. More importantly, Steven has hiring to do, and that's hard to do without meeting a person. My personal experience, I have hired people on teleconferencing, and not actually gotten to meet the person face to face, and then they're not a really good fit. I had several civilians that I hired when I was in the military. I didn't really like my choice. I had to live with it. I didn't like it. Meeting a person face to face is critically important when hiring them. So there is going to be some residual delays now. Steven won't be able to get that staff to 100 and then 150 people that he wants in-house. So be forgiving of that, be accommodating of that. And if you're one of the people who doesn't understand game development, feel free to drop me a question in the comments below. I'll explain it the best I can. If I don't have a good answer for you, I will get you a good answer. But there are delays that are piling up now with Intrepid working from home. With that said, guys, that is it for today. You'll see on the title of this is April Updates Part 1. Creative Director letter dropped at midnight. Steven, 23:59:59. I will let you know that I will be covering all the updates this month. Some people have been asking me to do roll-ups of like Discord leaks, so I'll start doing that as we ramp up for Alpha 1. I think the time is right for me to start ramping up production again. With that said, Ashes 101 got a total facelift again this weekend. A lot of good feedback from people, so it's better than it was 2 weeks ago, and I have some more stuff I want to do to it in the future. Thanks to all the feedback from webpage designers in my community giving me suggestions on how to do things better. Until then, guys, I will see you the next time we have Ashes of Creation news to share. And then hopefully we're really, really close to when I'll be streaming Alpha 1 and you guys can start living vicariously through me. If you don't have an Alpha 1 package, if you don't have your account at all, when you make your account, use the referral code in the description below. Helps me out, and then I give away everything back in giveaways. Once we get into live, I'll have a pile of money. I'll be able to give that away and pay for people's subscriptions. You guys take care. Stay safe during your quarantine for COVID, and I will see you next time. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.